Welcome back, everyone. It's the Bourbon Judge. Yes, we are back at it. I'm actually really excited for this one. I had a conversation with a couple of different patrons. They were like, Judge, you seem to always give love to craft distilleries. And they were like, why? Why is that? And they were actually saying, like, they were actually giving me a lot of really good feedback. They was like, you know what? It's actually a good thing that you do give love to craft distilleries because there are so many great craft distilleries out there. So, and I agree. I mean, for me, when I think about craft distilleries, I've said it before. I mean, don't get me wrong. Your big distilleries, your Heaven Hills, your Buffalo Traces, they will always, your Jim Beams, they're always going to be at the core of the whiskey business. But for me personally, I personally do believe that craft distilleries are the next wave of the whiskey boom. I truly do believe that. And the cool thing about it is that every state has their own craft distillery, right? Or distilleries, I should say. Obviously, every state has more than one, obviously. But there are a lot of great craft distilleries out there. So today, I'm going to give you 3 different brands that you more than likely probably didn't hear of. I'm sure obviously someone out there has heard of some of these, but for the majority of folks out there, you probably haven't heard of these 3 brands. So we're going to go in order, but these are not in order of like my preference. These are just 3 that I picked that I know the quality of the whiskey is just absolutely amazing. Cool? All right. So number 1, coming from a state very close to me, not my state of Delaware, but right next door, my neighboring state. This is a bottle I have. This is number 1. It's called the Trailblazer. So the Trailblazer is coming from Lost Ark Distilling. So Lost Ark Distilling is out of Columbia, Maryland. When you think of Lost Ark Distilling, more than likely, you may have had probably one of their rums. They're actually known for their rums. They make a variety of different, flavor, different types of rums, if you will. But they also do make whiskey. They make a small batch. They make a cask strength. In this case, this is actually a single barrel. And I actually got the single barrel from one of my patrons, my good friend, my buddy John H. from Delaware. So John got me the single barrel. This is actually, gosh, look at this one. I like this little label in here. Beach Liquors in Bethany Beach, Delaware. Down the beach. All right, John. I appreciate you, by the way. Thanks so much, John. So Lost Ark Distilling, again, they're known primarily for their rums, but they do make some fantastic whiskeys. This, again, is a single barrel, cask strength. This one's coming in at 123.7 proof. I poured this, and I was like, damn, John, this is amazing. So I had to give them some love because Lost Ark Distilling, that is an exceptional bottle. So folks out there, if you have not had a chance to try Lost Ark Distilling, and most importantly, the Trailblazer, the cask strength, in this case, this is a single barrel, but I'm just sure any of their cask strength bottles, make sure you do yourself a favor and try this one. Thanks again, John. Cheers. Fantastic buy. Fantastic bottle. Definitely a buy. In fact, I'm going to pour some more while we get to number 2. All right. Number 2. I kept it close with Lost Ark Distilling. But number 2, I'm going to go a little bit out west. I'm going to leave this whole East Coast and head out west. Number 2, I'm going to go ahead and give a little bit of love to none other than Wyoming Whiskey. So you think about Wyoming Whiskey, and I should say they are out of Kirby, Wyoming, right? So they're out of Kirby, Wyoming. When you think of Wyoming whiskey, they make a variety of different products. I mean, oh my gosh, they make a small batch, they make a single barrel, they make an outrider, they make a 10-year release, and they have a whole slew of other different ones. But this one here that I have that I absolutely love, this is their 100 proof double cask. So this is a straight bourbon whiskey finished in a sherry cask. What I like about Wyoming Whiskey is not only the fact that they have a wide variety as a craft distillery of different products. What I love about them is that I've had at least probably 3 or 4 different products from them. In addition to this, and every single bottle I've had has been just exceptional quality. I mean, just a fantastic pour from the nose to the palate to the finish. I mean, the entire experience. So they're obviously doing something right. They're taking their time, making great whiskey out of Wyoming again. And like I said, if you are a fan of just a brand that makes exceptional whiskey, a little bit less like known, if you will. Again, a craft distillery, but one worth checking out. I'm telling you folks, stop hunting all the allocated stuff out there. There is a ton of whiskey being made by craft distilleries that is truly exceptional whiskey. And Wyoming Whiskey, add it to the map because they deserve to be there. All right, real quick. 3 quick, easy favors. Number 1, hit the like button. Number 2, drop me a comment. Let me know. I want to know from either your state or from some of the neighboring states, what are some of the best up-and-coming craft distilleries located near you? Last but not least, please make sure you also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you get notification each and every time I release new content. Cool? All right. Cheers again to craft distilleries. Woo! Trailblazer, goodness. Lost Art Distilling, goodness, that is too good. Way too good. All right. Number 3 comes from Louisiana. Now, I know a lot of people are already thinking, this has to be JT Mellick, but it's not. It's not. So I was in Louisiana. We did a barrel pick Riesling with JT Mellick, and we had a phenomenal time. The JT Mellick experience, the whiskey was just flat out amazing. I was hanging out with one of my patrons, my buddy Paul. Paul introduced me to this brand. He's like, "Hey Judge, before we go do our barrel pick with JT Mellick, let's go bourbon hunting." So we went bourbon hunting, and he told me about this brand that, you know, he really enjoyed himself, and he was like, "You got to get a bottle if we can find one." I was like, "All right, well let's go ahead, let's find one." So number 3, oh boy, woo, Cajun Cut. This bottle of whiskey is just straight up fire. So when you think of Cajun Cut, they are obviously out of Louisiana. They're actually out of Iberia, Louisiana. The distillery name is right here up top, Distillerie Acadian, right? So they're out of Louisiana. Now, what's different about it is that, you know, obviously JT Mellick is making rice whiskey. By the time it ages and so forth, it does taste exactly like bourbon. But with Distillerie Acadian, and then specifically this brand, Cajun Cut, they are truly actually making bourbon whiskey. So they're making bourbon whiskey. They are a small craft distillery. They have, like many other distilleries, up-and-coming distilleries, they have a small batch. In this case, I was able to find the cast strength version. They obviously have some single barrels out there as well, from what I hear. Now, this was a $60 bottle. I purely bought it because my buddy Paul was like, "Judge, I'm telling you, it's worth it." Fast forward, I get it home. I pop it open once I'm home, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I mean, I just kept sipping it, and I'm about to pour some more after this. It is truly worth it. Why do I like this product? To me, it reminds me of like a softer, more friendlier version of like a Garrison's Brothers. So think of like a Garrison's Brothers, like the Texas whiskey. Think of that, but with a little bit more like mild, like a little bit toned down, a little bit sweeter. It has all those traditional like leather, caramel, the burnt brown sugar kind of a note to it, and then also like that almost like a burnt kind of grape note. It has all that, but it's a little bit sweeter and a little bit less toned down than like the Garrison's Brother, which is a little bit more kind of smack you right in the face, knock you out kind of a punch expression. This one coming in at 122.8 proof. It's similar to that, but it's a little bit more chill, if you will. Similar to Garrison's Brother, but a little bit more chill. This, I tell you, is one of the best bottles I bought in a long time, and I was truly surprised. Purely went by my buddy Paul, who vouched for it and said, "Judge, check out Cajun Cut bourbon whiskey. It is definitely worth it." So I'm glad I did. Hey, another craft distillery that I'm happy I have this bottle, and the next time I'm either shopping online or if I'm in and around Louisiana, you can guarantee I'm going to buy a Cajun Cut. Hey friends, until the next time, as we say in this courtroom, peace, cheers, most important. Salute. Take care. See you guys.